It was one of those New York evenings where the city seemed to move too fast, yet somehow feel suspended in the air. Snowflakes drifted lazily under the amber glow of the streetlights, painting a soft blur against the windows of Maple Roast. A small, corner cafe nestled between cold gray buildings inside the clatter of mugs mixed with the low hum of jazz offering warmth against the winter chill. At the back corner of the cafe, Nathan Hale sat hunched over his laptop, his sharp suit and furrowed brow marking him as someone who lived in constant control. But tonight his composure was slipping. Nathan, the CEO of Transglobe Logistics, a company spanning continents and oceans, was staring at something he couldn't command with authority language. An urgent shipping contract had landed in his inbox entirely in French. A mess of annexes, tariffs, and legal clauses. The kind where one mistranslation could cost millions. His translator was in the hospital. His backup, unreachable. The translation apps he tried twisted the words into nonsense. Worse, they missed the legal nuances completely. He leaned back, pressing his palm against his face, frustration heavy in his chest. He thought of the domino effect of a single error. Ports delayed supply. Chains rerouted, entire economies nudged off track because he couldn't read the fine print. Then out of the corner of his eye, he noticed Ellie the barista with a calm smile and a blonde ponytail, always polite, always present, but never intrusive. Tonight, however, she walked toward him. Her voice was gentle but sure. "You look like you're having some trouble with French." "I know a little. I could take a look." Nathan blinked, unsure. This was a multi-million-dollar document, not a menu, but when he looked at her, he saw only honesty and empathy, not curiosity or ambition. He hesitated, then gave a small nod. Ellie leaned over his table, eyes skimming the text. Her voice was steady as she translated aloud. Not word for word, but with precision, adapting. Context correcting phrasing, naming port dues, properly adjusting dates into their French sequence. She wasn't guessing, she was understanding. Nathan watched her lips form terms with an ease his legal team often struggled to match. Then she asked, quietly, "Mind if I look at the annex, the German one?" Nathan scrolled down silently. Ellie read, her brow furrowed. Then she corrected a subtle clause about surcharges for customs clearance. Not mere delays, but an entirely different liability. He looked at her, startled. "You read German too?" She gave a small smile, just a little. When she spotted the Spanish footnote buried in the fine print, she didn't hesitate, explaining the difference between full liability and partial liability, unless negligence was proven. Nathan's laptop snapped shut halfway, like a man pulling back from a cliff he hadn't realized he was standing on. "You know 3 languages?" he asked softly. Ellie poured him a fresh cup without looking up. 6, she murmured before returning to the counter as if she hadn't just rescued an empire from a $1 million mistake. Nathan sat frozen. The snow outside fell in silence while the hum of the cafe receded. Minutes passed. He called her back again, this time, showing the Italian annex. She read carefully, catching a clause that could have cost him warehouse fees on empty space millions. She explained calmly, then scribbled a new version on a napkin, tight, clear, unambiguous. Nathan held it like a lifeline. "You studied law, Hugh?" "Asked languages," she replied. "The rest I learned along the way." When he offered her dinner, she declined. "I need to pick up my son," she said simply, then slipped into the snow, leaving Nathan staring after her. Later he saw her again, leaving work with her little boy bundled in her arms, groceries, small, precise. No luxuries, just bread, eggs, bananas. He followed from a distance. Not curiosity, but gratitude, carrying her child through the snow into a worn brick building. She disappeared behind a broken porch light. That night he returned, leaving a paper bag on her doorstep. Crayons, gloves, chocolates, a stuffed bear, an envelope of cash, and a note. "Thank you for saving an entire shipping route with a pen and a napkin. No strings attached." Then he disappeared into the storm. The next time he saw her, she was in the lobby of Transglobe, clutching the envelope, ready to return it. Security tried to stop her until Nathan's voice cut through the air. "She isn't a stranger. She saved this company $2 million last week." Ellie handed him the envelope quietly. "I didn't help for money. If you need me again, let it be work, not a favor." Nathan nodded slowly. "Welcome to Transglobe." She came 3 afternoons a week, her desk small and tucked away, but her work unstoppable. She caught mistranslations in Portuguese contracts, corrected Korean liability terms, saved shipments in Russia and Turkey without fanfare. Her notes were precise, her tone professional, her presence undeniable. Nathan noticed. He also noticed the whispers coworkers muttering that she had once made coffee downstairs, laughing softly that the CEO must have noticed her. For other reasons, Ellie ignored it, kept working, kept proving herself until the silence of her colleagues began to sting more than the words. One evening, Nathan asked her the question that had lingered. How did you learn all this? Ellie looked at the falling snow outside. When life doesn't translate for you, she said, you learn to translate it yourself. Nathan didn't ask more, he understood. When her son Benji fell sick, Nathan drove her across town, carried the boy himself, sat with them at the hospital, brought coffee without asking. Ellie read to her son in different languages, making him smile. Nathan whispered it is magic. But the tension grew. The quiet hostility from colleagues who saw her as an interloper. She had weathered worse, dismissed by professors, ignored by employers, underestimated by strangers, yet it pressed against her now, whispering in hallways, glances in elevators, meetings that curved around her instead of through her. Still she worked line after line, contract after contract, a silent force holding together pieces no one else saw. And Nathan saw it all.